Hey guys, this is I think my fourth video. I'm trying a new format. I'm gonna try posting them on my YouTube channel, or yeah, I guess maybe a channel, YouTube login, and then post the links on Facebook. Um, if you guys prefer, for those of you that watch these on my Facebook, if you guys prefer me to just upload them directly to the Facebook like I have been doing, just like leave some comments or something on the post. Let me know that you'd rather just straight on Facebook instead, and I'll do that. This was the first full week of classes. Um, Although, like last week, because the way my schedule's set up, I had everything at least once other than labs. To this point, I've had my chem lab. I just haven't had a physics lab yet. Everything else I've had like at least 3 or 4 lectures of. So I guess I'll start with probably the dumbest. I'll call it the dumbest question that I heard throughout the full week. So in our physics lecture on Monday, guy puts up his hand and he asks, "Do we have to memorize formulas for anything?" Seems like a smart question because sometimes they want you to memorize them. So it's a good question. Prof's answer is no. For all tests and exams, you will be provided with a formula sheet. Guy puts his hand back up and says, "What about for tests and exams? Do we have to memorize formula for that?" This was like 5 minutes into my week, because I had Mondays start with my physics lecture. So it's kind of sad that within the first 5 minutes of your school week, you have to face palm at the stupidity of someone. But I mean, it did give me a bit of a laugh, just because like it seems so slow paced compared to what Trent was, and still at Trent everything seemed like it was really slow paced just because everything builds on top of each other like everything else, so they have to make sure you remember stuff from the previous year and previous semester. But I feel like I'm getting like a grade 9 review at this point, because like physics, math, and chemistry, all we're doing is significant figures, scientific notation, and unit conversion so far. And I swear that's stuff that we learned in like grade 8 or 9. And the fact that some of the people are having trouble with this, it kind of makes me worried for like their future, I guess. I know a lot of you are probably thinking, yeah, you're full of shit, and maybe I am, I don't know. But whatever. So then like our chem lab, it was really just like 2.5 hours of the prof telling us like safety and teaching us how to wash things properly. And it was kind of cool because he washed all my stuff for me, but then I had to go through my drawer and look for the dirty, like, we had to wash a graduated cylinder, a test tube, a beaker, and I don't even know what the other thing was, like a watch glass or something stupid like that. But the sizes that we had to wash, he cleaned them all for me. So it was really hard to find one, and I think I ended up just washing like the same test tube. So like, I don't know, the lab was kind of I guess ridiculous. Like, I've never had a lab where they decide, okay, I have a 2.5 hour spot, I'm gonna give you a 2.5 hour introduction. But the guy did it. And unfortunately, all the stuff that I wanted to wash is still dirty because he said we had to have like rubber gloves to wash the stuff, because apparently the soap is like really hazardous. I guess I don't know. It was a little stupid, I thought, but it seems to be like something that happens every now and then. Like, I don't really think a whole lot happened this week. I decided that I want to try and either join or introduce a magazine similar to what like the Absinthe was. Like they have a like a campus newspaper. I think it's called like Ignite, or yeah, I'll say it's called Ignite. I'm not 100% sure on that though. And that's similar. It seems somewhat similar to what the Arthur was. Well, those of you who went to Trent, you know the Arthur's kind of biased. And when I say kind of biased, I mean like it's well past bias. Like I was reading through one of the Absinthe magazines I have, and one of the articles I read was someone addressing an article in the Arthur from like January of I think 2009 or something, where a guy wrote about how the Peterborough police only favor the like they pretty much are like, oh, you have money, then we'll police for you, like we'll police in a good way for you. Oh, you're a student or you're poor, we'll police in a bad way for you. And I guess like someone in the Arthur, they wrote this article, and then this person wrote an article to the Absinthe, because obviously the Arthur's not going to let you trash talk them like that. But the Absinthe will, because Absinthe and Arthur, they've like never gone along. So the Absinthe people are like, yeah, we'll publish your article that badmouthed them, and shows how they had no proof. They just went, oh, you guys suck, and that's the end of the story essentially. So like I want to try and introduce something like the Absinthe magazine, or start writing for them if they already have one. But I decided this like yesterday that I wanted to try doing something like this. So I was gonna go, since I don't know where I'd go for something like that, I wanted to go talk to like the first year coordinator. But her Fridays, I guess, are pretty busy, so she wasn't in her. She had like before my first lecture, she had lecture, and then she had a lecture during my first lecture. Then she lectures my class. Then she has another lecture right away, and then I tried to go find her towards the end of the day, and she wasn't in her office, so that sucked a bit. So I'm gonna have to wait till like next week, and hopefully I can find a time when she's gonna be there, just to even like see if I can get pointed in the right direction. But I mean, not like there wasn't a whole lot that happened. Like Wednesday, I tried to go to. I was supposed to meet my one friend at the Arnie, but there's no actual like signs telling you how to get to the place, the Arnie. And the only place that I found was called the Cellar. So it's kind of like I guess the Cellar it would be similar to oh my god, the place in Champlain. I can't even remember the name of it at the moment. And the Arnie, I don't really know, but they're both like little pubs, I guess, and apparently you have to like go through the Cellar to get to the Arnie, and I don't know, it's not really clear. Oh, it's called the Cayley. It's right there on my wall. Champlain pub in Champlain is called the Cayley. Thank you, Trent calendar, sitting on my wall because I don't have a Mohawk calendar. So yeah, so because there's no signs, I wasn't able to get there, and I got lucky though, and I ran into her on Thursday morning. So like we had a coffee, we talked for a bit then. So that was kind of good and kind of lucky on my part. But I mean, pretty much all I do during the week right now is I like sleep, I go to my classes, I come home and like watch TV and do homework. That's all I'm doing so far. Like I don't even talk to people in the classes, and I kind of like that I don't talk to them during the class, because then I can try and focus on what's being said, because I mean I'm like falling asleep already, so I have to try and focus. But I mean it sucks a bit because like, well, even today I had class 11 till 12, 12 till 1, and then was off for an hour, and then had 2 to 3:30 and had to sit and wait 30 minutes for my bus. So like I had an hour and a half where I had nothing to do. Usually I'll grab like a new copy of like the Hamilton Spectator or something, and so I have like a newspaper to sit and read. But when I got to campus, there weren't any copies, because apparently showing up at like 10:30 or whatever on a Friday is too late to get a copy of the paper, which sucked a bit, but whatever, I guess. So yeah, I gotta try it. Like, a few different people, they've told me like different ways that they would suggest going about meeting the people, but I mean, their advice is like, be yourself or smile, and well, smiling at a random stranger doesn't really tell them, hey, I want you to introduce yourself to me. And like, I feel like it's kind of creepy to just walk up to a random person and be like, hey, my name is such and such, how are you? Like, that might be something that you can get to work at like the bar, but I don't think it would really work too well at school. So I don't know, maybe next week things will go a bit better, like, because I know with the physics lab, which I have, I think Tuesday afternoon / evening, like, if they, I think they're assigning us to a group, so if they assign us to a group, obviously I'll be able to meet people that way, and maybe that'll help out. But I mean, at the same time, like, after hearing some of the questions that these people ask, I'm not 100% sure that I want to be friends with some of them, just because, like, they're really stupid questions, and like, I don't know, some of you may have face stalked me a bit, and you would have saw that I posted on Facebook about how in about 30 minutes or so I was able to get perfect on the first 3 math assignments, while some of the people are having trouble with the first one. The first one, it was seriously just, here's some numbers, put them in scientific notation, or make them so they have like significant figures. The second one was like adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing numbers, making sure to use the rules for them. So like, if you multiply these 2 numbers together, how many significant figures should it have? But I mean, in the lecture that he taught us how to do this, he went over it for about, I don't know, probably 10-15 minutes, like, explaining, okay, this is the rule, I'm gonna say it like a dozen times, and he easily said it a dozen times in that one lecture. The third one was like just graphing, so it went, here's an equation, how would you do this line? And that was like really easy. So I'm not 100% sure why I have to take this math class, because it seems like ridiculously easy, but I guess, you know, we'll kind of see how things go. Maybe it gets hard eventually, I don't know, I'm just not there, I guess. But I think that's about all I have at this point. Luckily, because I'm doing this new format, I can like throw in stuff later. If I decide I want to throw something else in, I can just edit the video or something. But yeah, make sure, for any of you that were able to make it through this full video, just let me know if you like this format better. I don't know, maybe you guys want it to just be straight on Facebook. I was told like the last video it was a little pixelated, so I don't know if that's like a problem with my webcam or the actual software that Facebook has for putting the program straight on. I'm gonna watch this video before it actually gets put on to see if it's actually pixelated, and if it is, then that sucks, but I'm not going over it again because it's been like 15 minutes, something like that. So, you know, if it ends up sucking, then, well, sorry guys, I'll just go straight onto Facebook, just because it'll end up being easier and no uploading time. But thanks for watching there, guys. Hope you guys have a good week, and I will see you next week.